This past weekend, I judged the Cosplay Central Crown Championships of Cosplay with Ganoza Costuming, Robin Careless, and Ian Campbell. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to refer to this as the crowns for the rest of this video, but let's have a bit of a history lesson before diving into the process of judging this contest and the roadmap to picking a global champion. This contest has been around since 2014, but it has changed a lot since it started. When it started, it was just a regional contest, but throughout the years, as ReedPop acquired new shows, it grew to New York Comic Con, then Emerald City Comic Con, and finally internationally. In 2016, C2E2 became the home of the global championships, and Miss Major Sam took home the top prize for her country, Australia. Due to the pandemic in 2021 and 2022, this contest was structured a bit different, so we're gonna leave that out and focus on how it's structured today, which is the same way it was structured from 2016 to 2020. How it works. Essentially, C2E2 is 3 contests. The regional, in which we award best in each category, including needlework, special effects, and armor, and 3 regional winners. Then there is the national contest, in which the winning contestants from New York Comic Con, Emerald City Comic Con, and Florida SuperCon are flown to Chicago to compete for the national title. For the global competition, we had 8 international finalists who had to win their regional and national titles and move on to be sent to Chicago to compete for the global crown. As judges, we were sent to Chicago with one very important job: judge all of the competitors and pick one global champion. Good morning, it's C2E2 Day 2, which means Crown Championships judging. Get my coffee, put some makeup on, and then let's go judge some costumes. You're a contestant. Some conventions give you a green room. This is the green room for the Crown Championships. They have some snacks on the table. There's tables so that people can put stuff on them. And then my favorite thing, they didn't always have this, but they have it this year, is an actual curtained room. So I can get dressed in here if I need to, if not me specifically, but like if I was a contestant, I could get dressed in here. I could do touch-ups if I have to like adjust a corset or something. There's this space so that nobody has to feel uncomfortable showing off bits and pieces. So this is the green room. I will not be spending any time in here. Let me show you where our room is. And this room is where all the magic happens. We've got some coffee, some snacks. We've got our table with notes and things like that. And this is where we get to check out people's costumes. This is where we'll be staying today, so let's judge some costumes. On Saturday, April 1st, we had a 10:15 a.m. call so that we could start prejudging at 10:30 a.m. We started with the regional contestants, and these were broken up by category. So special effects, followed by needlework, followed by armor. Contestants get to choose which category their costume falls under, but sometimes as judges, we are given the ability to move a contestant, especially if we think we are going to give them a prize. With that being said, we don't just judge the sewing in the needlework category, we have to judge every element that is brought to the table in every single category. When it's time for a contestant's judging spot, they walk into the room and they typically will have what's called a build book. They can give the judges the build book, and the build book should have a reference image. If it is an original design, we do prefer a sketch of the design, just so that we can still judge accuracy to an extent. These build books should also have images of how the costume was created and short little blurbs of what materials were used, what techniques or tools did they need to use, etc. Each contestant has 5 minutes to tell us about how they made their costume. In this time, we do ask if we can touch the costume, get close, things like that. We always ask permission. But during these 5 minutes, we also will ask clarifying questions, or if there's something that we simply cannot tell how it was made, that's a good time for us to ask a question as well. Once time is close to being up, we give them about a 15-second warning so that we can ask the final question and they can get their last piece out to us. Once the contestant is done, they leave the room and we score them and give our score sheets over. After we've scored them, we actually start to discuss the process. So the scoring happens before any of us have had time to collaborate or discuss our thoughts. This just helps us get our instinctual scores down, and then we can discuss later. Once all the regional contestants have been judged, we judge the US regional winners, followed by the international winners. Now is the hardest part, deciding who our winners are. We actually worked really well together as a team, so that made this part fairly easy. We use the score sheets as a jumping off point, and then once we've narrowed each category down, we actually pulled the build books from each of those contestants to kind of help us figure out, okay, what comparatively was more difficult, what was cleaner, what fit better, and that's basically how we narrowed it down to our winners. Once we had the regional winner chosen, we were able to put them into the US category and judge the 4 US contestants. And once we had the US champion chosen, we were able to compare them to the 8 international contestants, and that is how we achieved a global champion. We've prejudged, we've deliberated. Now it's time to line up backstage and get ready to strut our stuff. This is always super fun because it's a great time to hang out backstage, talk shop, take selfies, and really just get to know the other competitors. As a contestant, this was always my favorite part. This is actually where I met Ganoza Costuming, Jedi Manda, and Reed Pop royalty Samir Tikka Masala, who was the representative of India for 2 years, and he got to judge the global champs last year in the UK. Once we were shuffled through to the backstage, us judges were called on stage first with a little intro about us.
Renee, an award-winning cosplayer focused on education, craftsmanship, about cosplay craftsmanship. In fact, last year even published her first book, Cosplay Foundations, which is your guide for constructing bodysuits, corsets, hoop skirts, petticoats, and more. Welcome, Casey.
And now it's time to watch our regional and US competitors.
Spent over 4 months and 300
cricket and finally encased in warplug. The corrugated skirts are also warplug, formed over dozens of dowel rods and laced in metal. The double
power and the chest was involved in a clay and then cast as a latex cast the character to realism.
base clay mold. The silicone allows for complete range of movement. The armor was made from cracked foam and warplug with strap attachments to look screen accurate from the show.
The wings are made out of synchronized
made to create the raised diamond pattern with the skirt, with using 12 feet of ruffles. The wig was sawn by hand and dyed.
Inspired locations historical underpinnings, including hips, hip pads, and working corset and hand-applied applications.
Of over 20 yards of silk, half of which has been dyed and finished with satin-stitched scallops. All of the accessory mounts and front tapestry are hand-painted.
So I opened the phone, and for his spirit cell hat, he gave phone with cuts, painted black rock stripes, there were light vests, EL lights were installed to the hat. The hat is all lined up.
The feet has 37,000 beads, 17,000 of them on the lead cape alone. The coat is made of silk and is adorned with embroidery and a belt. The leather bolero and harness was created with the same silhouette, showcasing its growth in leatherworking. These pieces, along with the pouches, boot straps, mitts and daggers.
From 3 weights of denim, top stitching, gold thread thread. Special attention to the fine details such as knee pads, horizontal bars of the shirt, and a hand-painted shoulder patch.
Embroidered directly on the leather without marking or stretching. Now the velvet sleeves feature over 200 parallel decorative stitch line marks to mimic the woven fabric used on screen. Unable to find boots sufficiently accurate, Kelsey made her own from a cheap pair of flats and
10%. The bind and the holster is removable for travel, perfect, and clean, and the petticoats have over 60 yards of ruffles. On the gown itself is 60
specialty treated organza that hides all the electric components for the fiber optics. Some hidden features include resin work, a specialty
armor making, foam smithing, cork, and 3D modeling. The ladies and shirt constructed using tons of strips of fabric from a local fabric.
5 yards of horsehair braid in the heads of the skirts. This costume was made with dedicated attention to dragon detail. Even the handmade corset has 36 custom vinyl iron-on dragon-made logos.
Then that same yarn was woven into an overjacket on Japanese loom. The traditional 4-panel period.
An underbust corset, a hoop skirt, and a petticoat. The outerwear includes an overmuscle corset, a ruffled tiered underskirt, a split front overskirt.
Together, and Tinkercad, and had her husband 3D printed, using Game of Thrones as an inspiration.
With the built-in corset. This costume is not only sewing but EVA foam work, machine embroidery, and LEDs. Even the shoes were heavily altered, starting as just simple. The sleeves have over yard fabric in each one and includes a hand-embroidered flowers, matching with one flower with us. Each flower is handcrafted. All right, the full dress models and armor was handmade from beginning to end. Now, modeled and 3D printed in hip armor and arm braces. Like in the game, the chest piece is wet molded basswood and jute. The hip armor consists of fabric, hand-woven raffia, tabards, leather, sculpted flame foam flame gourds, and 3D printed armor. Hand-painted wood grain and aged copper banding. The floral crown and EVA horns continue the natural theme with ants made of puff paint and wire, as well as terracotta. 3D printed, faux fur, metal, foam clay, leather, vinyl, and porcelain. Majority of the foam pieces were patterned freehand without the use of 50 hand-painted leather feathers that adorn the loincloth, helmet, cape, and bow. The bow was constructed to be broken down into 3 pieces for easy transport. And the full-time job is over 2 daughters. First part made from plastic bags, tape, EVA foam, pipe cleaners, spandex, and latex. Each piece grew from the previous as the build progressed. This costume contains armor that is worthless and 3D printed, as well as tubing that is used for the line. Techniques. This costume was self-crafted and built from the ground up, including all visible garments and 3D models. The hand texture cosplay essentials were an EVA foam, mold making, resin casting, hand painting, wig alterations, and the list goes on. They did everything. And uses 6 uniquely coded microcontrollers. It features hand-stenciled pink details and is fully embellished with more than 2,000 beads and crystal rhinestones.
Now it was time to go backstage and deliberate. We basically already chose our winners, but the stage sometimes can help with tiebreakers. So since we had so much time backstage, we actually hopped on to Jedi Amanda's live stream and answered questions for the judges live on her stream. And obviously we had snacks because this was the perfect time to refuel and rehydrate before watching the next part of the contest. The prizes for this competition were obviously a big check. But more importantly, there were these beautiful medals that were created in collaboration with Hoku Props and HDC Fabrication. Finally, the grand prize for the global champion was, in fact, this beautiful crown that lights up and makes a absolutely stunning display piece in anybody's studio. So at this point, all of the regional contestants come back on stage, and we got to award the best in special effects, the best in needlework, and the best in armor. And then we got to award our top 3 regional champions.
All right, we're going to start off first with our FX category, and that winner is Zira Tall from Star Wars. And our final category winner from our armor category is Saving Savannah's from Dungeons and Dragons. Third place, walking away with a giant check you can't take anywhere with you. At $250. A pass to come back and join us next year. Who we got, Jeremy? Some help from you for this one because this is the winner of our Chicago C2E2 competition. You ready to find out who's going to be representing you in our nationals? Also, walk away with $1,000 and too shabby either. Congratulations! One more time, thanks for all these
Top regional champion is now stuck on stage, and we brought all of the US competitors back. So Florida, New York, and Emerald City Comic Con, all of them came back on stage, and we got to pick the US champion.
All right, Jeremy, you ready to tell who's representing? All right, we're going on. To Lowell, are you ready? The winner is Nerd. You don't know this. Nobody knows this. This is brand new. This is just you won something extra that you don't even know about yet. Your husband's gonna not be mad at you anymore. Because what we want you to do is we want you to come and be one of the judges for the MCM Comic-Con competition in London. I'm serious. Now, you're warning you. These guys are gonna tell you it's a lot of work. And that's right, you're gonna come and represent all of this over there at London for us. Can you do that? So, break your legs up just a little bit. I want you to look at all these people. I want you to notice all these people. To the best of your abilities. I'll be there, so I'll see you there. I got you. Congratulations. But
All right, now my favorite and probably the hardest group of contestants to judge are the international contestants. Now that the US champion has been chosen, the international contestants get their time on stage.
It's okay, it's magnets. Yeah, it's just magnets.
And blue UV resin to increase vibrancy, while the larger LEDs and helmet eyes had vacuum-formed plastic domes with a honeycomb pattern to resemble bug eyes. The weapons were 3D modeled, printed, and then the blades were cast with clear resin to allow LEDs to shine throughout and give a glowing effect.
Included our working hours, a wide range of techniques reduced from foam to work, smithing spikes with a hint of nail technician materials.
24-karat gold. While originally Matthew wielded a 9-foot-tall bone greatsword, he was unable to fly with it. That's right. So he's made this cross hunter's bow. The costume has a wide use of warbler, vegan leather, 3D printed parts, metalwork, faux fur, fringes, foam, and clay foam. To achieve this, a wide variety of techniques and materials were used. Most of the costume patterns were self-made. All of the armor and belts were crafted out of vegan leather. The chainmail was made from scratch by twisting metal wire, making individual loops and weaving them together. Once complete, it was carefully hand-stitched to the tunic for a seamless finish. Handmade and painted to appear battle damaged and aged to match the aesthetics of the game. The headpiece, along with the ice rail assembled, used They used magnets. Light up chill water, ammo pack, and nozzle. All the patterns were made from scratch, including the clothing, which involves fabric buying, hand stitching, and weathering.
Third place goes to Allison as Clown Hall.
Are we ready for second place? I'm excited about this one. Please put your hands together for Ludus Cosplay from South Africa, second place. Our time from Horizon Zero Day, the Frozen Eyes. And this person is the top winner, best of the best. This is the one.
Going home with $5,000 and the title first place is.
So we're looking for 4 volunteers.
The fight to the death.
Goes to Earth
And that's the process of judging the Cosplay Central Crown Championships of Cosplay, the global contest. I'm forever grateful for ReedPop for bringing me out to judge this contest. This was honestly a dream come true, and I seriously could not have asked for a better judging team. Ganoza Costuming, Robin Careless, and Ian Campbell were absolutely incredible to work with, and I could not have done absolutely any of this without my girl, Jedi Manda, there to make sure I had water, help me get dressed, and let me borrow her Naja doll for the stage portion of this contest. Thank you all seriously so much. Overall, my experience was incredible. Congratulations to all of the winners, especially Nerds Gone Mild. Your costume is a work of art. If you're interested in cosplay competitions, cosplay sewing, or the business and guesting side of cosplay, please subscribe to my channel because I have so much more content for you. I will be back very soon with a new project for the Renaissance Festival. And if you are interested in a how to compete in cosplay competition type video, please let me know in the comments below because I would love to hear from you. And that's all for today. Okay, goodbye.